Hey y'all, how you doing today? It's been a pretty good day for me. Got myself another tarantula. Yep, had to rescue her from the squalid condition she was in at Petco. Yes, I'm being very facetious. Petco treats their pets very well, but not as good as I do. So they gotta come home with me. All right, so today I'm going to talk about something that it's not easy to deal with, but I'm going to do it anyway. From the time I can remember, my mom was an alcoholic. In recovery for as long as I can remember. But I know when I was younger, she still drank. And although I've blocked most of it out, there's things that I think I remember. I really think there was a time where she was drinking and was out and didn't come back. For how long, I'm not sure. Whether it was, overnight or a couple days or a week, I don't remember. Because I was very, very young. But I remember Elvis Presley had a song called Don't Cry Daddy. And the chorus is, don't cry daddy, you've still got me and little Tommy, together we'll find a brand new mommy. And for as long as I can remember, I always interjected the words that, you've still got me and Johnny, my brother, and together we'll find a brand new mommy. And I always have felt very sad by the song. I mean, I love the song. It's a great song. But it always comes with that half remembrance of feeling like we've been abandoned by her. And I don't even know if that's true. It may be a false memory. I don't know. And I don't know anybody alive now that would even know or remember. But, alcohol caused a lot of problems in her life. And, she was, lucky enough to be able to go into recovery and stay that way until she died. Now, I got married at age 18, and my husband was 7 years older than me. So, of course, we had liquor in the house all the time. And, I drank. For a long time, it was only casual drinking, when we were together, if we were out with friends, that kind of thing. I remember one time that I had gotten a fifth of Jim Beam, and I was only about 120 pounds at the time. And I ended up drinking the entire fifth. I made rice-a-roni, but never put the flavor packet in. And the only reason I know I made it is because I ate it and threw it up. And their flavor packet was still sitting on the counter. So I did that, and when I got up from that drinking binge, I was hungover for 3 days. And at that point, I swore off any kind of bourbon or whiskey. And to this day, just the smell of it turns my stomach. But, there's a whole lot of different types of alcohol out there, so I just kind of went on to another one. And as far as I can remember, I only drank and drove one time, and it was when my husband was out on a cruise. I was working as a shift supervisor for an answering service, and I know I got drunk, and I know I drove. I didn't have kids at the time, so it was just me and one of my friends in the vehicle, and we had just been partying. But that's the only time I ever did that, and thankfully nothing happened to anybody or anything. But there came a point where I was getting home from work and immediately going to the bottle to get a drink. And it was happening daily. And it didn't matter what time I was getting home. I just started drinking. And I knew, because of Mom, the signs of alcoholism and the repercussions of having it and being an alcoholic and not being able to control it. So I don't even know what happened, but I came home one day, and as I went to reach for the bottle, I kind of flashed back on the past, 6 to 12 months where I was coming home daily and automatically drinking from that point on. And I just, really had a good look at myself and said, you are one toe across that line of crossing into being an alcoholic. And you don't want to go down that road. And from that day on, well, I realized I was starting to have a problem. So therefore, I quit drinking, period. I realized it was starting to become more of a problem, and that if I continued down that road, then I certainly wouldn't like the outcome. So I just quit. And I didn't touch a drop of alcohol, I think, for at least 2 to 3 years. Excuse me. Yeah. And then after that, from that point on, I've been able to drink, but I also know my limits and I don't overdo it. I can go out. At times I would go out and, you know, just party for the weekend, but it wasn't an every weekend thing, and it certainly wasn't an everyday thing. And I knew my limits, so I didn't get totally jackhammered, shit-faced, unable to remember things. I would drink and I would get buzzed, but I never crossed that line like I did that time with Jim Beam. Unfortunately, addiction is part of my DNA, I think. I really do. Uh, Mom, she had been an alcoholic and was recovering. She was a prescription pill addict. I mean, she had the issues with stuff, and so did I. She, was strong enough to ask for help, to stay sober. I was strong enough in myself to stay sober and to not let it cause an issue. Now, I have been on very heavy medication since 1992. One of the first medications that I was given that actually helped my back spasms and the muscle pains and muscle cramps. It was a muscle relaxer called Soma, with the generic name being carisoprodol. And that was the one medication that no matter how long I used it, it always worked. Whereas most of the medications I have been on and am on, a lot of times after about 3 or 4 months, I build up a tolerance to it and they stop working. But I didn't have any problems with my medicines until the mid-2000s. My husband and I were together. My kids, were still living with me, and, they would spend time with their dad on the weekends. And I had my prescription of Soma, and, it not only helped me not hurt, but the way it made me feel, the high that it gave was absolutely extraordinary for me. I would have a prescription of it, 1 month prescription, which would be 120 pills. I was supposed to take one every 6 hours. And I would get it filled, and I would end up taking 120 pills in 10 days or less. And then, because it wasn't a very expensive medication, I would call the pharmacy and say, oh, I lost them, or they got knocked into, water and dissolved. I need to get them filled. And of course, insurance wouldn't pay because it'd be too soon. But it was less than $20 to get it filled out of pocket, so I would just do that. And I did that for a while. I honestly, sorry, I'm lucky to be alive because I overdosed twice on them. I never admitted that I had a problem. I kept saying I was in control. I know, yeah, I'm doing it now, but I can stop anytime. Everything an addict tells themselves, oh, I can stop anytime I want to. Oh, I don't have to have them, I can go without them. And, it's just I don't want to. All the excuses that we addicts use to pardon ourselves in our own mind. The first time I OD'd, of course, my husband had to have me transported to the hospital, had my stomach pumped and everything. And luckily, my kids weren't home. And I of course, don't remember any of it, but, even after that, I still kept going down the road and insisting that I didn't have a problem. And then, not long after, I OD'd again. And same thing, off to the hospital, swallow the charcoal, have your stomach pumped, all that thrilling stuff that they do to save your life. And I am grateful they were able to save my life. And after that second time, I finally woke up and realized I had an issue, and I was severely addicted. Did I like admitting it? No. Did it hurt to admit it? Oh yeah. But after I realized, yes, I have a serious problem with this medication, I took my prescription, I dumped them, threw the prescription out, and never touched them again. And that has been over 15 years ago that I did that. And I am grateful that I did, because I know if I had kept on with it, I wouldn't have been around to see my kids get married and have kids. It really would have killed me if I had not had the clarity to realize I did have the problem, and the strength to never touch them again. Don't think I haven't been tempted, because I have. No medicine I've been on since then has made my back stop spasming as well as it did. But yeah, I could probably take them now and not become addicted, but there's no reason to open that can of worms. The absolute main thing I'm grateful for is that my kids didn't see me that way. They were gone. My husband told me they were gone both times it happened. And I am so thankful that they did not have to see that, because I don't know what that would have done to them at the time, or what kind of lasting repercussions that would have been from that. Yeah, they had already lived through so much that, I'm just so glad I didn't put them through that. And to this day, all my medications, I take them as prescribed. I don't get them filled early. And, even if the doctors were to actually count them instead of just, eyeballing them every 2 months, they would count them and they'd find they'd be spot on, if not, have more in there than what would be expected. Because I don't, there are times I don't take as many as I am allowed. I kind of just save it for, if I'm not hurting real bad, then I'm not going to take them, and I'll, have it there for when I'm really having a bad day. But I am a firm believer, if you truly want to change, you can do anything you put your mind to. I didn't turn to anybody else to overcome alcoholism. I used my strength and my willpower to overcome it. And the same thing with the prescription meds. I did not go seek outside help. I did it all on my own. Because nobody can do it for me. You can have people tell you over and over again that you have a problem, and you can go, into rehab, but unless you're willing to first admit you've got a problem, it's not going to change until you've hit that rock bottom and made the choice to not let it control you anymore. And that's exactly what I did. I made up my mind to not allow anything to control me like that again. It's not been easy, but I did it. And, I know not everybody is like me. Not even close. if you're struggling with medications or illegal drugs or alcohol or cigarettes or any of that, once you realize you have an issue, don't be ashamed to ask for that help, because the help is always there. You just have to ask for it. I knew myself well enough to know I didn't need to ask for the help. I could do it myself. But nobody else is like me. So, don't sit there killing yourself on these things. Because, if you let these addictions get the better of you and you OD and don't survive, the world will miss you. You may not think it, but the world will miss you. And I realized that, my children, my family, and everybody that knew me would really miss me were I not here. And that's what keeps me fighting. Do I wish there was a miracle drug that would make my pain go away? Oh, hell yeah, I do. But there's no such thing. I don't know. I don't remember what it's like to have a day without pain. It will ease during the night when I sleep, but it's not for long. And I get tired of hurting so much all the time. But I refuse to let myself go back to those self-destructive ways. I'm better than that. And my family needs me sober, not drugged out of my fucking mind. All right, I think I'm done for the night. It's been a long day. It's been a good day, but it's hard to admit how weak I was at times. But it's empowering to also share how strong I was in overcoming the alcohol and medications. And I am extremely proud that I am a strong enough woman that I could overcome them. So, if anybody watches this and is struggling, there's help for you. Anywhere you look, you can find help. And I'm always available. If you're struggling and, maybe want advice from somebody who's been through it, shoot me a comment on this post and I'll get back to you. because nobody should have to feel alone when they're struggling like with addiction. And I sincerely hope my struggles will illuminate a better path for others. So, I'm going to bid you all a fond farewell for the night. Stay safe. You are loved. I thank you for listening to this, and I appreciate it more than you know. I love y'all tons, and I hope you have a good night. Later. Bye.